back to another episode of Get Real with Jack and Cindy. I'm Cindy Morrison.
And I'm Jack Wallace. We're so glad you're back with us. We have a very special guest today.
Yes, we do. One of my besties, Chera Kimiko.
How are you? I'm so good to be here. Thank you for asking me.
Yeah, I
Love
mean,
you
I
some
should be
Chera.
intimidated, right? The two ex-news anchors and me. So bear with me today.
No,
So.
no, you're the star, though. Everybody
Ah,
knows you,
okay,
Jack.
yeah.
Yes,
I'm-
everybody does
I'm
know
the
it.
star. Okay, cool. Cool.
Everybody knows you.
Well, I'm so excited because I was just telling them that if I could go back in time, I think this might be what I would do. Yeah, I mean, I really do love real estate, but I think I think this is such a cool thing. The whole facial aesthetics and the helping people through the aging process and making people feel good about how they look and how they feel, especially being 58 years old. Like you start realizing,
And we get real, so both of
Yeah.
us are 58. We've
Yeah.
established
I'm
that.
53.
So there we go.
And you just get to that.
I am.
Right.
See, all your work is
Yeah.
working. You didn't even know I was 58.
No, but you get to that place where it's not that you're trying to look like you're 23
Well, maybe.
or 33. No. I mean, I see people that do that.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it looks ridiculous.
yeah,
You know, there
it
used to
does.
be years ago. I mean, years and years ago, when I had Charles, I worked for Charles in the Utica Square, and there was a woman who would walk around Utica Square, and she had the face of like a 12-year-old.
Oh, gosh.
I mean, she literally was so, because it was, 40 years ago, 40
Right.
years ago. But then her body was just
shriveled.
and it was
Yeah.
just such a weird thing, but she just kept having that, face done. And it's like the technology now, I think, is so much better. And it-
Facelifts, I mean, you used to have to go through this very painful, horrible surgery
Yeah.
that now you don't.
And
don't
it
have to
still is a
do.
good, I think there's a time for that. And I think, that's not really what we're talking about. But like, when you look at like some of the things Demi Moore has done and how good she looks. And,
great.
when you're always camera facing and you're in that profession,
It's true.
It's
and you
hard.
age on camera.
it's very hard. And it's sort of like the cameras have gotten so good.
high definition is a scary thing.
It
Yes,
is.
it
I mean, it
is.
really is. And even like when you're a camera accidentally, when you're doing, and it gets like right here,
Yeah,
like,
and you're
it always is the worst. And
"Ah."
you think, I look like that to everybody.
And that when I got out of TV, one of the reasons why I wanted to do aesthetics, we've talked about this, is because you age on TV.
Uh-huh.
And it was always a process on TV of get the Botox, get fillers, get a facial, microdermabrasions, what they called it back in the day. Now it's called a diamond glow. But it just seemed like a natural progression because I was doing it anyway. And I thought it was fascinating. And I mean, truth be told, I wanted the free stuff. So I figured if I'm the owner,
Yeah.
I get it for free. And it's really not that free because I pay twice as much as being an owner,
Yeah.
getting it. But I think it's really important to take care of yourself. And I think it's not taboo anymore to talk about like how it was. And I think it's a really beautiful process to be good to yourself and to
Great.
take care of yourself. And I think that more and more, God, I'm saying I think a lot.
It's okay. I think it's okay.
I know it's okay.
But it is such a fascinating industry with aesthetics and what
For
can
sure.
be done. And it's scary with all the Facetune and all of the Photoshop and everything that you can do because no one wants to look like they have pores, but reality, people have pores. And it just seems like
They're kind of an important thing to
let
have.
us help you so you don't have to do Photoshop. Let us help you get you the right products, the right services, so you don't have to have Photoshop. And you can feel very good and secure.
And I've got a perfect example because I've been coming to Kimiko.
Your skin looks great, by the way.
Thank you. Since they opened, I mean, just religiously.
Yeah, you have actually been.
Yeah, I think I was one of your first clients.
Yeah.
But when I got the Hulu show, I'm thinking, it's been almost 15 years since somebody's seen me on TV for commercials or whatever. But I'm talking about like TV news going to Hulu. And I immediately came to you and said, okay, what do we do that, and I love
You
me
look
some
great,
Botox.
Amy.
But what was it that you did on me that was such a game changer? It was the resurfacing.
Laser.
No, it wasn't
The
laser.
Morpheus 8?
Morpheus
Oh,
8.
yeah.
I can't
Morpheus
remember.
8. It's radio frequency, so it heats down, and it's like have you had microneedling?
I have had microneedling.
It's microneedling on steroids. I say Lexus, Mercedes, they're great cars. BMWs are great cars, but Rolls-Royce and Bentley are top tier. And that's kind of how I think the Morphe Estate is.
The Morphe Estate truly was a game changer. We went through.
Is it tightening?
It tightens.
Okay.
It smooths. It dissolves fat, depending on how
it does
high
what? Dissolves
heat.
what?
Yeah.
You know, and most people want the fat dissolved, you know, right under
there.
here. So different settings for heat can affect that. You know, it can reshape. We've had people come in and you can do it on any part of your body that you want. So
I
we
didn't
have
know
it
that.
done on the stomach. People have come in and they've had bad lipo jobs and it's kind of ripply. So you can smooth that out.
Knees. I bet you could tighten
knees.
up above your knees.
Yeah.
Not that would be any of us, but I'm just saying if you
But
had
isn't that the
issue.
weird? That's the weird part about getting older. Like, you know, I've just lost some weight, and so it's like I'm seeing, you know, like this, and this is like a little deeper, you know, depression than it used to be, and like above my knees, I'm getting so like you're at the gym and you're working out and you're down and but then you're like, oh, I mean, it's that kind of stuff that just bugs you. That probably no one else notices.
No one else.
Yeah, but it bugs you. So I think it's more. Everyone thinks it's kind of not everyone. A lot of people think it's shallow or that it's, you know, you're being vain. I think you're taking care of yourself because you want to not feel, you know, like we are all competing with people of all different ages. We're competing with, you know, so many things in our life that it's just like just to have that little bit of feeling of I feel okay about myself. The confidence booster is a big deal,
and it's kind of
underrated.
It's kind of part of the whole package. You want to eat well. You want to exercise. You want to take care of your hair. I mean, we buy silk pillowcases to make sure, you know, your hair looks good. To me, I want to do everything I can to try to look and feel my best.
This is self-care. And there's 2 points.
Oh, I love that. Say that again.
Self-care.
Yeah, self-care.
It really is so important to take care of yourselves. And for women take care of everybody else. So we're the last ones to take care of ourselves. And for men, they don't want people to know that they're taking care of themselves. So
I don't care. I don't care.
I don't care either. You know,
Me either.
I love Botox. I love it all. I'm finding as I'm getting older that women and men alike need to really concentrate on the neck.
Oh my God.
I wish I
we'd
paid
only
more
known.
attention.
And the hands, because what we've done is we have taken great care of our face, and our faces are so beautiful. And then you see the neck and the lines, and then you see the chest, and you see the freckles and the crepey skin, and then you look at the hands also, and they look old. And so it's really important, especially as you get
and just
older.
even sunscreen, like to really sunscreen your hands and your neck when you're younger is really you're so ahead of the game just by doing that. I keep preaching
this to my daughter.
But they don't think they're ever. Did you really think it was going to happen to you? I mean, it's sort of funny. I just like I get that glottal now, and I'm just like, and that's what the Morphe is. So it takes that and it tightens that up. Yeah, I mean that's the thing. It used to we kind of had like you could freeze your face with Botox, and you could kind of make it look a little better with laser. But like I had the really really deep CO2 laser years ago, and it made my face so raw that my dogs wouldn't get in bed with me. Like it was that bad.
You're like a burn victim.
But
essentially.
It was amazing results. I mean, it just. But now you can get those same results with so much less.
Yeah,
I mean, it's kind of amazing.
It'll take it a little bit longer, but it won't be quite as invasive as what you've done because the CO2 can be pretty. It can get down and dirty depending on how deep and what you want. But even the facelifts now, it's there. I've seen some plastic surgeons work on people and you can't tell and you see the after pictures like the next day and there's hardly any bruising. It's just
crazy.
Come leaps and bounds.
It's awesome.
Yeah, aesthetics is cool. And we were talking before we went on the podcast about PRP, platelet rich plasma, and the platelet PRF, platelet rich fibrin. And that's a game changer. It's called Easy Gel. And anywhere where you can put filler, you can put this PRF gel, the Easy Gel. And
which comes from your own natural body.
It's
combined, right? So let's go through that step by step. I had under my eyes the PRP a number of years ago, but now I want to come back and do this PRF one gel. Because it has
So let's start with PRP, what that is to begin with.
Okay, so the PRP is a platelet-rich plasma, and we take your blood, We
It
spin
just
it.
sounds good, doesn't it?
We take your blood, we spin it, and you can inject it under the eyes to help get rid of the hollowness and some of the lines underneath your eyes. But a lot of people come in for hair restoration for the PRP because it can restore and regenerate and regrow.
Do you inject it or is it on the surface?
You inject it.
Interesting.
You can also put it on your face after a procedure, and that helps stimulate.
So 1 second, I don't mean to interrupt you, but I think this is important. So for the men,
I have pictures. I got to show you.
So for
guys all
men
this.
with hair, like slight hair loss, like along the hairline, the front of the hairline, and the crown, wow.
Mm-hmm.
I've never even heard of that. So that's really amazing.
Yeah, and most people buy packages of 3 or 6 because you really need that many to make a difference, because you don't want to just start and then not. It'd be like taking your hair pills that we take for long hair and just taking it for a month and say it's not working. Well, you have to continue to do it, and then after you finish the protocol amount, then you can ease off on it and you can come in for touch-ups or whatever you need. But men have really, really good results.
So for men who have
women as we age,
issues,
same thing. Our hair starts to thin.
well, and for men who have issues with like taking or doing minoxidil or those, because there's a lot of side effects with that stuff. So a lot of time, and it doesn't work for everyone. So this would be your own body doing that.
Yeah, the regrowth. So from PRP advanced to PRF gel, which is called the Easy Gel, and that is platelet-rich fibrin, and it's the fibrin that is kind of the difference in it. You take the blood, like how you would with the PRP, you spin it down, you separate the red blood cells from the platelets, and you heat one vial and you cool another vial, and it makes this gel-like consistency, and you mix it together. And I'm putting my fingers.
Oh, so it is your own stuff that is making the gel. It isn't a gel.
Right.
It is it's still all
right.
you. Oh,
all you.
Okay.
And you mix it together. You have a syringe in this hand, a syringe in this hand. You mix it together, and you saw the video. And you saw the video. And it's a gel-like consistency that's not as thick as filler, but any place that you put filler, you can put this gel under your eyes, in your temples, because as we age, we start getting hollow right here. Marionette lines, nasolabial folds, jaw, chin, cheeks, even lips.
So if you do the jaw, that
And
kind of
hands.
alleviates the look of the jowl. Like you put it where that divot is.
Yes, it can. Of course, I'm not the provider or practitioner,
Right,
so they would need to look at you and see which is best for you.
But that would be the reason most people would put it in their jaw. Yeah.
So I had a divot, or just to fill it out, and make it more of a snatched jawline. But snatched. But
I always love that word.
the protocol with that is 2. So you need 1 treatment and then another treatment 6 to 8 weeks, and that's where it really starts building. And it lasts about a year, depending on what your activity is like with your body and how fast you metabolize. And then you can come in a year and get another one done. Some people might need 3, depending on how hollow their eyes are or where they want it. But it's a game changer, and that is probably what I'm single-handedly most excited about. That and Sculptra, because Sculptra is a biostimulator.
So what is the difference? But I mean, Sculptra is a product. It's not your own body's nutrition. It's a product. So
it's a biostimulator that helps stimulate the collagen, because after 30, basically you've lost and are losing all of your collagen. That's,
the worst part.
Pretty but it stimulates that collagen back in your body, and for lack of a better term, it kind of grows. So you can put the Sculptra in your cheeks, in your jaw, and not under your eyes. You can't do under your eyes. But when you first get it done, you need 3 of these treatments. When you first get it done, it gives you a preview for about 4 days of what it's going to look like when it's done growing. And then you come back in a month later, and then another one a month later, and you start seeing gradual changes in your face, which I think is better, because sometimes when you get everything done at one time, and all of a sudden you're like, everybody's like, oh, you put the filler.
Yeah.
You got more time. I know what you did. But then, if it's gradual and it lasts 5 years or so, people are like, gosh, what did you do? Great. And it has what's called the Sculptra glow, because it really does glow, because it's coming from within, and it's from the collagen.
So then like the smoker lines that people get around their chin and their mouth, like, is that a filler thing that you could do, like, to get that to rebuild?
The PRF gel you can put in there to help with that. If you have lines, probably Botox for a lip flip is going to help with that, or a little bit of filler because you want to stretch it out. So people are always like, what's filler? I think of it filling in lines or
Filling up a tire.
filling in a deficit.
You just don't want to be, I'll go to LA and I'll just see these women with the tire lips and they put so much filler in it, almost looks masculine.
I've always been real weird about not letting do anything around my mouth because it does, and
it migrates is what it does.
And it just has so I think you have to have someone who really understands what they're doing. I mean, even when I first did filler years ago, I would say do half of what you think, because I can always come back. And I was like, it was just so extreme where people would kind of get the chubby cheek and then
and that we usually do that. We have them come back in 2 weeks because
you've always done that, which I so appreciate because I don't necessarily know what I want. You guys advise. So the fact that we can just, let's do a little, see where we are, then we can do a little bit more. It's better than having to go back.
Yeah, it's easier to fill up than to start taking away because that starts getting expensive. But we're seeing a lot of people come in that do want the filler dissolved because filler doesn't go away. It just migrates. That's why you see those people with the duck lips or,
So you should be careful with filler. I mean, use it in areas, but not as your main thing.
Yes, and filler can also be a really tough product to put in your tear troughs if you have the hollow eyes or if, dark circles. And this PRF gel is such a game changer in that there's never been a contraindication of it or contradiction for any of the.
Explain what that means in layman's terms.
There's never been an oops, you have a side effect kind of thing. Like filler. People,
I think that is amazing because I think it's so, we can talk about all these things, like everything has cause and effect. But when you're using your own body, and that's why I was saying even with hair loss, when you're using your own body's nutrients to restore, that's a whole lot different than using a chemical that you have to use consistently forever to keep the effect.
And then there are some things that you want to do with the PRP Easy Gel before you do. Like you want to be really hydrated because again, you're using your own plasma. And
you want to be healthy.
You want to be healthy. You don't want to smoke. You don't want to drink alcohol. You want to be very, very hydrated. You don't want to eat a diet a week before high in triglycerides. That's facts. You want your plasma and your blood to be as pure as it can because that's what's going to stimulate all the growing. So
that actually makes sense because we've talked about it a lot on the show, but I'm on a program because I went diabetic, and so I went on this really interesting program, and I wear a monitor, and I've done all these things. I've talked about it a lot, but like one of the things I noticed was I had loss of my eyebrows through here, and that's from the blood sugar. And as I've gotten my blood sugar down, then that hair is coming back. So it's interesting because it makes sense that if you look at your body and how it's running optimum, in an optimum way, then things start coming back and restoring. So what you're taking out in order to do that, it would make sense. You want it to be as healthy as possible.
But it's just I'm so excited about this. I was telling Cindy, I think it was a hard year for everybody last year, but I was come hell or high water, I'm getting this PRF Easy Gel because it really is a game changer, and it really is a game changer for people who don't want to put filler in their face, or they don't want to do a lot of Botox, and they want the natural. You can't get more natural.
So, Cindy, why don't you and I have it done, and we'll show the before, during, and after.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. I'm in. I'm all in.
Yep.
I think it's because I think that's something, especially for the guys. Like I think I'm starting to see men do so many more things to make themselves feel better and look better. I always think of it this way. It's a success when I wake up and I look in the mirror and I don't go, oh, I just kind of, it's like, it's a very subtle thing. But when you look in the mirror and you think, I don't look tired, I don't look sick, I don't look blurry. I mean, and again, I'm realistic about my age. I don't want to try to look like I'm a lot younger. I just want to look the absolute best I can. But you want to look.
I want people to look at me and not know how old I am.
Yeah.
Or care. Just don't make that an issue. And I think it's so much harder for women. I do. I mean, like you guys,
we scrutinize each other.
Oh my God.
Crazy.
It's terrible.
But we also have makeup. So
But there's one thing I do want to say is you can have as many procedures done as you want. but without a good skincare regimen,
Amen.
Your results will not be anything. You can't have one and not the other. They have to be.
And you don't have to spend a fortune to do good skincare anymore.
No, and like CeraVe over at CVS or Walgreens, it's such a great.
The Ordinary
product.
has great stuff.
I'm a huge The Ordinary fan.
Yeah, well, we have Skin Better. It's medical grade skincare, and I really like it. I love the SPF. SPF should be put on several times a day.
I'm going to Mexico next week, so I'll grab some on my way out.
Yes, definitely. And a good cleanser and double cleanse. You hear about this right now. Everybody's really into double.
I started doing that in the last 2 months.
It makes a difference.
It makes a huge difference, and you get that. You really, without even doing anything else, you get that glass skin after, and it's the oil cleanse, and then
and then the foam.
And see, yet I've done this since I got into TV news, because they, originally when we got into TV news, it was all that thick pancake makeup, and I would wash my face
So gross.
and then do my toner, and I would still have makeup on. So I've double washed my face,
and that oil
for forever.
dissolves all of that stuff off of your.
And how you go like this, and you do upward motions and all.
I will say my mother is 83. She watches, so I did get it right. It's 83. And she is always, she's very rarely worn makeup. She wears like a little bit of lipstick, and she's just never been but she has always gotten facials, and she's always taken care of. And I can remember when she was younger, she doesn't get in the sun and never has. And she looks amazing. I mean, she really does look amazing. Yep. And again, it wasn't not because she does a lot of makeup or she's done a lot of procedures or anything. She just has taken really good care of herself. And I think the biggest one really is that she has literally stayed out of the sun.
Yeah.
I wish I'd been better about that.
Yeah, we were with the baking,
and I love the
coconut
sun.
oil, and the baby oil.
There's some things I'm not going to give up completely because I just love it.
But I remember telling my kids when they were younger, I'm like, get the suntan lotion, and they're like, what is suntan lotion? I'm like, that's right, it's SPF, sunscreen. But back in the day, it's suntan lotion, and make sure that there's no SPF in it because you want to crisp yourself. But
baby oil and remember
the aluminum foil. Do you remember the aluminum foil blankets?
Oh yeah.
I was like, take me.
My mom had a
and then the
tanning
tanning beds.
Oh, my mom had a tanning lamp.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
It is sort of funny now when I see really, really overly tan people in the winter. You remember for a while that was so chic because it was like
you couldn't be too tan or too skinny.
And now I'm like, oh god, it's kind of like that. What is that movie? The Mary.
Something about Mary.
Something about Mary.
Not a cigarette. That's really
And that's the thing, like that balance between living your life and then taking care of yourself. Like it's and one thing too is I almost cut out all alcohol. No smoking. I mean, all those things.
I have not, but I'm living
difference.
vicariously through Jack. I've never smoked.
I can't say that. I did. Yeah. And it's why I have these. I mean, but.
And I drank before my PRF, so that's probably why mine didn't take as well as it should. But I mean,
so it does make that much difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you don't want to be on blood thinners and stuff, and you'll come in for a consultation anyway, and we'll go through all those things and give you a before and after paper that you need. But yeah, it makes a huge difference.
So if you're going to make that investment, then take the time to take care of yourself beforehand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
And you know what? Then keep taking care of yours. Like that's a good. Maybe just keep following some of that protocol.
I want to get it done. Don't even look at my hands, but I want to get it done in my hands to plump them up a little bit. So
veiny. Yeah, veiny. Good.
That's what I was watching. I was looking at a picture of Jane Fonda the other day in the magazine, and she looks so beautiful. I mean, she really does look gorgeous. She's 90, I think. And
whoever her plastic surgeon is.
It's amazing.
I want that number.
But it's funny because her hands were, you could see her hands, and it was like, oh my, like it is. There's just so much you can do. And so that's interesting that like there's actually things now.
Yeah, people can put filler.
We're lucky to be aging in this day and age compared to 20 years ago, 30 years ago. I mean, when you look at, I even watch old films. When I had the flu, I was watching all the Paul Newman. I'm completely better now. I was watching all the Paul Newman.
My flu shot anyway.
Oh, good. No, this is the 1 year I missed, and I got it.
Oh.
But I was watching 3 Paul Newman movies in a row, and it was so interesting to see like all the different aging and Joanna Woodward aging. And then it was Cat on a Hot Tin Roof was one of them. And oh my God, Elizabeth Taylor
She's
was
gorgeous.
literally the most beautiful woman ever.
Yes.
You really forget how good she was. 27 in that movie, and she was just completely flawless, beautiful.
I wonder what they all used back then. Do you remember using Noxzema? I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
Used
So funny.
Noxzema and everything. And,
Pond's cold cream.
oh yeah.
And I've heard that actually Pond's isn't bad still.
I've heard the same thing. It's kind of makes you wonder, like, wow.
Maybe go back to some of the old school. Yeah.
Well,
this
I
way,
keep
like,
looking
the
at you.
survey-
You have great hair, Jen.
Uh-huh.
I mean,
Thank
you really do.
Thank you.
Like,
I
They're
don't know.
nice and thick.
That just made my day because I was looking at this morning going, what is going on?
no, like really, you've got great hair. I'm very
Well, I'm
impressed.
excited. This is
I know, I'm
great.
excited.
So let's
Come
talk
back.
about a few of the other things you do because I know you do a whole lot more than just this.
And especially necks. Like, what can you do for your neck?
Microneedling is so good on your neck.
And the
You can
Morpheus
do
8.
Morpheus 8 on your neck.
And the microneedling,
There's-
how often should you do the microneedling?
Once a month. So one of the best procedures, treatments that you can also do is in a series of 6. So it's 3 microneedling and 3 TCA pills, but you interchange them. So you would do a microneedling session, your face and neck. Then the next month you would do a TCA pill, and that's a deep peel, and your
Peel. I thought you said pill. Okay, peel.
Peel.
peel, not peel. And it really does take off layers of
A
face.
chemical
not,
peel?
Yep, not
Okay.
quite like the CO2,
Okay.
but it will still get down in there and pull off brown skin, the layers of dead skin. And then you come back a month later and you do the microneedling.
So the
and
ruddiness, it helps with the ruddiness part of your skin.
yeah, if you have freckles or brown spots, it helps get rid of it. And
Oh, wow.
just damaged skin, it peels off. That is so good. That really is so good. If you don't want to do
So
any
6-month
injections.
protocol of that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
So microneedling, peel, then so on. We also do lasers. We do hormone replacement therapy here. We offer the pellets. Our nurse practitioner, Lindsay Wilson, specializes in that. She's so good, so smart, and she also does the weight loss. So the tirzepatide, Ozempic, semaglutide, Zepbound, Mounjaro, all of that.
And let's
She does
talk
that.
about that real quick because I really want to discuss this because I've been noticing people that when they do those drugs, I chose to do what I did because it was the alternative to that, and not everyone's going to do what I did, and I think it's a miracle for people what it does. But I've also noticed that it's so much weight so fast that like a lot of what we're talking about with skin and the loss of volume, like so everything we've been talking about is good in conjunction with that to help people come like what they do lose to get some fullness back or where the hollowing is. So.
And Lindsay's so good because you have to come in once a month. That's the only way that you can get your prescription. And then she tests your blood. If you want it every month, you can, but every 3 months you have your blood tested with those medicines. And she really regulates, like, how much are you losing? Is it what you want to do? Is it too fast? Is it not fast enough? And she really works with you, and she's
That's
just
awesome.
brilliant in it, and so smart with the hormones too.
You're not just ordering it online and getting sent something, and who knows?
Right, and
That
a
worries
lot of time
Yeah.
though, people that are going through hormonal changes, because we all go through hormone changes. We all have the estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone in our bodies. But sometimes when your hormones are off, that's the reason why you're not losing weight. So she tests your blood
To find the balance.
and then is this really a right thing for you to be on the tirzepatide or the Mounjaro?
Yeah. How do
Interesting.
they decide whether,
They're scientists and way
And we're not.
And I'm
Yeah.
not. I just own it and I come in like a consumer, and
Yeah,
so
but I
ask the
think
same
that's really-
questions.
I love that though. I hadn't thought about that. So as somebody like you that owns it and manages the whole thing, you do look at it from the public facing side. Like
consumer.
what do I as a consumer want?
What can I afford, right?
Mhm.
And then what do I find interesting as a consumer? Because I'm sure if I find it interesting, you might find it interesting, and so on. I'm not trained as a nurse to be the science behind it. That's why I hire people that are smarter than me to be able to do it. And
I was
they're
just-
able.
Reading an article talking about people paying money for the tirzepatide and the Ozempic, and it was talking about how they save so much money on their groceries and on the food that they are spending less money monthly than they did before because of how much they spent on alcohol and on food.
Yeah, because you can't drink on
Yeah.
the shot because it will make you incredibly sick, and it can go into acute pancreatitis, and it can land you in hospital. So you cannot drink.
wow.
You can't drink.
I
the
can't tell
sugary
you, my
drinks.
bill in dinner is half price by not drinking.
Yeah, it's insane.
And I didn't drink that much. I really didn't. Just a drink or two, and it doubles.
And they did a study, and oh man, you probably know this, but it was drinking or trips to the hospital has been down like 33% for alcohol related trips to the hospital or just drinking in general because people are on it and they can't drink. And then there was a report.
And it takes away the craving for a lot of
Yeah.
people. Yeah.
And then there was a report on saying a lot of bars are noticing that people are not drinking as much, so they're offering non-alcoholic drinks.
And then younger people are not drinking.
They're not
like,
drinking like
yeah.
how we
Well,
used to.
And then look at the different, I mean, when we went through COVID, alcohol consumption
That's all
was
you were doing.
through the roof. Then you introduce these shots. So it really has been, I'm sure, a huge drop from where it was.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. But it's been amazing. And what they're finding with what these drugs do is a real benefit in so many other areas.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
And so it's not just for weight loss. You don't have to go on these grandiose amounts for this weight loss. You can get on it for different reasons. But
I actually own stock in Eli Lilly and in Novo Nordisk, and it's
Do you
always
really?
yeah. And I bought it a long time ago, but it's amazing because whenever they were saying there was going to be a shot that would make people have weight loss, I was like, everyone in the world's going to want that.
oh yeah.
Yep.
And they have. But it's interesting because now they've come out like Novo will go up one day because they figured out that it's helping with fatty liver, or Eli Lilly will go up because the heart attack incidences goes way down. I mean, it's like they're figuring out, and they first thought it was mostly. I'm sorry, I'm telling you all this because you're the
No.
person, but they were originally saying that it was
I'm learning.
because they thought it was because of the weight loss, that all those things,
Because that's
it
what
was-
I'd always heard.
and if you take the weight loss away, then those things happen. But they figured out, no, it's
It's
actually
your
healing and
receptors.
changing the receptors, and so that makes everything healthier.
And I was just talking to I didn't mean to cut you off.
No,
If I did.
you're right.
I was just talking to Lindsay, and I said, we have a lot of older women that come in that are menopausal, and you get that menopausal
Mm.
belly and kind of that. And a lot of the women that are on it are like, God, it's taken that away. I don't know what the science is behind that. I've seen one study, and I think it was out of the University of London or something like that, where they were using it for menopausal women to help with that belly fat and the extra fat on the arms. And I can't help but think that this is really such a great thing for people,
Well,
to
they've
become
had, like-
healthy and to feel better, because menopause sucks.
You know, last year they had 4 or 5 FDA changes on what it's approved for.
Yeah.
So think about that, because the FDA, what you have to go through to get those. So those are the things they've been studying for
Mhm.
years and years. And then we're also seeing all these other things that are coming up. I mean, it's not like it's a miracle for everyone. We have to say that too. But for people that have, and let's face it, the majority of Americans, we are not healthy.
No.
Even the ones who think we are with our diets, and you're not. And so there's just some of these that are just miracles what it's doing for people.
It's
To me,
game
it's
changer.
the great game changer,
Mhm.
the great equalizer. I can remember, like in elementary, high school, would go out with girlfriends who were eternally thin. I mean, that's the way their body is. And they'd be like, yeah, no, I'm not that hungry. Or they'd eat a few bites and be fine. And the rest of us are, eating
Starving
everything
out
on our
nachos.
plates. So it's almost like Jack, you've said this before, it almost takes out the food noise.
Yeah, the food noise goes away.
So you really only eat what your body needs.
Mm.
And in fact, sometimes you have to remind yourself to eat
Mhm.
and keep up your nutrition. But it just seems to be the great equalizer that you can look the way you want, feel the way you want, be able to get out and exercise if you haven't been able to before.
My boyfriend has been on it, and he's lost 20, 25 pounds, but he just went to the doctor this morning, and they took him off cholesterol medication and high blood pressure medications. And that's
It's crazy.
huge.
And like I spent time at this program I've done, and it's been great. But like, I went off my medication because everything is well. But then I actually had to go back on 1 pill a day because my body still, even by eating almost no carbs, really limiting. I mean, I'm doing everything and really following it exactly what I'm supposed to do. But my body, for whatever reason, just has
Genetics,
those things.
probably.
And I'm going to continue trying because I do like the idea of trying to heal myself.
Mhm.
But I think for a lot of people, it's just like it makes a big difference. I think it's just great that there's actually something that works for people.
Yeah.
And if it makes them healthy, instead of what they used to give you fen and you were like
oh my gosh,
jacked up all the
deaths,
time.
though,
And
I might or might not have done that back in the day.
everyone
Oh,
did. I mean,
dear,
that was
yeah.
a very normal thing.
everyone did.
Yeah.
I mean, we
Yeah.
all try.
Again,
Well-
if you say it's going to make people lose weight, they jump in. I mean, I think that's what people first get into it and then go, but I feel so much better.
Mhm.
It really is true. I wish they would lower the price so everybody can use it. I
Mhm.
wish Eli Lilly, would do
Right.
that because it is so expensive.
And most insurance won't pay for
Mhm.
it. So,
Well, like I keep saying, they pay $2,000 for equipment for me to do all this other stuff because they don't want to pay I am a prime candidate for it. So they didn't want to pay for all of that every month. So they do this to try to get you to do your own and to do it. And it's been a great program and a miracle. But I mean, I think it's only going to work for people that stick to it and will do it.
Yeah, and the hope is it will change your eating habits to a healthy lifestyle because we all have a certain amount of fat cells. You're never going to get rid of your fat cells; they just shrink and expand.
And I
shrink
was
and
reading
expand.
they were saying at first you'd have to be on it forever for it to have the effect. And I've been reading where they're saying actually that's not true. That a lot of people have been on it. There are people that are going off of it and regain. But a lot of people have used it to get that 20, 25 pounds. And then they've kind of relearned and
How to
and
eat.
they're-
They're
how to
not
eat.
eating
and
it
I've
back.
heard 2 years being the magical number. I don't know whether that's
2 years
true.
of being on it.
2 years of being on it to not regain the weight that your body really has changed over that time.
I'd love to hear if anyone out that's listening has had any stories like this because I do think I think this is a huge game changer.
Oh, it's huge, and Lindsay sees a lot of people for it, and the people that come in afterwards, I just feel so much better.
Mhm.
And seeing the patients that initially came in that didn't feel good, and now they've lost. Gosh, I was just talking to one patient; she already lost 80 pounds, but it's been over a course of a year.
Mhm.
She is a whole different person.
Well, let's face
and
it.
her
What have we done? We have
confidence-
fat shamed. Even those of us that think we haven't fat shamed, we have fat shamed people. I mean, that idea that if you just go to the gym more, if you just
Some
eat
people
right,
just can't, though.
and it's like that's easy for us to say if you don't have
The
these
food
things,
noise
because
going on.
There's
yeah.
no way that it's not a physical issue. There's no way it's not a physical issue if you can give someone a shot and it changes it.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
So those people that have had that it does that for, there was something that was wrong that this fixes or heals or takes care of, and it wasn't just because they weren't disciplined enough.
Yes.
I mean, I think that
I don't think it's discipline. I mean, and in some cases it might be, but
sometimes
I
people
don't
just
think it is
can't. It's-
most of the time.
yeah, there are things in your body that just can't be changed sometimes without medication and help. And I don't think that there's any shame in that or anything wrong with that.
But when you call the standard American diet and the acronym for it is SAD, I mean, think about that. It really is sad
It is
that
sad.
that is how we have been trained to eat. And it's like, oh, you should want French fries and you should do this, but don't get fat.
Yeah.
I
Just
mean,
have one.
Yeah, have 15 glasses of wine. Let's make signs up, but don't get fat.
And also I think changing the dialogue and my thought just completely left my mind. It was really brilliant. I promise.
Again, we are 58.
Dang it.
I'm 53. I'm getting
Things
up there.
come and
changing
go.
the dialogue. And it's back.
We got it.
Changing the dialogue of, if you have cancer, there are
Mhm.
drugs you can take. If you have,
That's such a good point.
an upset imbalance in your brain and you're bipolar, there are medicines you can take. So why have we made some of these things when it comes to beauty and health so taboo that must be because, you're just not disciplined or, you're a glutton or, whatever they want to say. If there is something out there that can help you,
Right.
maybe that's something you look at.
And if you're under doctor supervision and you're
Yes.
doing it, then I don't think there's anything wrong with it. And it's also
And I'm not huge on big pharma. Don't get me wrong, but I do think if there's help out there, seeking to see if that help might be right for you is
But
not a bad thing.
But I do love what you just said because being under the care of a professional who's monitoring you is a lot of people aren't doing it that way, and that is
How do you even
different.
get it though? I mean, how would you get it
There's
without
The
way
a
out to
mail
get it.
order, I was amazed
don't you
during the
still-
Super Bowl, the ads of mail ordering.
Wait, but don't you still have to get a prescription?
I hope
from
so.
your
You do have to get a
doctor?
You have to get a
prescription
prescription from a
online.
doctor, but you get it online.
But I don't know what the monitoring is, like if they're doing the blood work on a consistent basis.
Because you have to keep the blood work up.
Yeah,
So,
and I know,
mean, you just,
and maybe they do. I can't speak to that, but I don't get the impression. I think it's kind of one of those. It's kind of like when you do your medical marijuana license and you talk to someone, you go, I have a hard time sleeping. They're like, oh, of course you need it. Yes.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's a similar kind of thing.
I didn't
So
know. I mean, I guess I knew that you could, but I always thought you still have to get a doctor's signature.
Within the
to
last
even do
year, it's something online. And I don't want to mention the brands, but I saw a couple of them during the Super Bowl.
well, they were the longest, the longest commercial.
Yeah.
Because they're trying to make a shortage out of it. Or they're trying to say the shortage is over and it's going to change whether you can get it or not. So,
Mhm.
yeah, it's all interesting. You know, it's also like we're talking about, you know, we did the interview with Dave Zimmer about Salad Master and eating and keeping, you know, vegetables and all that with the minerals and the vitamins and all that. Like everything we're talking about, you know, this is kind of like one step. And then the other step is trying to eat as the healthiest you can to get, you know, like you can't make yourself look great. What is that? Marianne Williamson always says, you know, we're shining an apple that's rotten to the core.
Oh.
You know, like
Hmm.
you got to be holistic in this whole thing and think about your body and how it functions. I think that's what I like about the drugs that you can do for this is that it's that more kind of the internal part. It's not just about whether you have wrinkles or you have sagging. I mean, it's like, how is your weight and how is that affecting your health and your longevity?
And you know, it's interesting
Blood
because
pressure.
your skin doesn't lie either. So
True that.
you know,
Yep.
there are so many things that you're eating that can show on your skin that you're not eating well. Like a lot of the puckering that you see on the chin, like you see some of that with older people and even our age people, and it looks orange peely-ish.
Mhm.
That's a diet bad in nutrition.
Yeah.
There's
Sugar is the worst thing for your skin.
Have you seen those studies where they put sugar brain and a meth brain or a
It's
cocaine
scary.
brain together,
What?
and it reacts just the same, and it has the same amount of what is?
I
Again,
can't tell
I am
you-
not the scientist, but it's how you need it just as much as you would need cocaine if you came off.
I
it,
totally
or
believe that. It
what
was so
does
hard
to
going
us,
off
the
of sugar.
dopamine, right?
It was so hard. And my memory, it took me about 4 or 5 months for my memory to get better.
Really?
But my memory is so much better by not eating sugar. I can't even tell you. Like, you know, you just that aging thing where you're A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
Mhm.
And like, I still do a little bit of that, of course, but nothing like I did when I was so brain foggy on sugar.
Huh.
Now I have you know, my body obviously really reacts to that,
Mhm.
but I would think for anybody it's
Oh, yeah.
a big deal.
Yeah.
So
I always like the analogy that people say your body's like your car. You know,
Mm.
you have, if you don't put gasoline in it, it's not going to go.
right.
So if you don't fuel your body, you shouldn't be going either. And if you're going to clean the inside of your car, the engine and everything else, why
Add
aren't you doing
oil.
that? Yeah.
Mhm.
Why aren't you doing that to your body? Because
Mm.
your body is your only temple.
When I don't want to
You
just
know?
wake up and look good, I want to feel good.
You want to
Yeah,
feel good.
yeah, that's
To look
huge.
good is
What
better
is
than
it that
to
you
feel
said?
good.
It's better to look good than to feel good, darling.
Well,
Was that Jaja?
No, it was Billy Crystal.
Oh, that's right.
It's
Oh,
better
God.
to look good than to feel good. Bull. That is not true.
Oh my gosh.
Although at times it feels like that.
now, what did you say last week or 2 weeks ago? Health is the new
Health is the
wealth.
new wealth. Yeah, I do.
Mhm.
I totally believe that. I mean, I would much prefer, this is where it comes down to, I would much prefer to see someone with a beautiful, well taken care of face and body than have an Hermes belt or a Louis Vuitton. To me, I'm so much more
Yeah.
like,
That's
wow,
actually- that's
that's
so
so,
true.
you look so amazing. They look happy and healthy. I mean, you can just put so much stuff on your body,
Yeah.
you know, but it's like, again, don't shine that apple that's rotten to the core. Like, you got to take care of yourself. And then you feel so much better. You know, you just feel so much better whenever you look good and feel good.
Yeah. And you're getting out of bed and like, I can walk and my back doesn't hurt today.
Yeah.
And just wanting to be excited about life. You know,
Mhm.
I think that it's also like, you know, it's also kind of weird when you get to be in this age range where you're starting to like, you know, things are a little bit slower and a little
changing.
bit different, and you kind of want to go in that direction, but it's like you still want to be excited by things, and you still want to
Yes.
have things that interest you, and it's like this allows you to do those things.
My goal always after TV was to not have to wear foundation. I just didn't want to wear foundation anymore.
Your
And so,
skin looks
I
amazing.
know, isn't
I
it
have blush on
amazing?
now, but I it was
Because you were
probably
saying there's
been in
no
this
spotlight. I
past,
see no freckles. I see no.
yeah, I
Like
just
that would be the perfect foundation for most people.
thank you. Thank you. It's probably
For those of you who
been-
can't see, it's amazing.
been this
Yeah.
past year, and then really the past 6 months where I've tried different things. I've experimented with different things, done facials, done diamond glows, done the microneedling and Morpheus 8, but it really is a goal. I wanted to not wear makeup, like the foundation, and so I feel like I kind of am proud of myself.
Yeah,
right
it
now.
looks amazing.
Well, also
Thank
by
you.
doing
It looks
that, have you
amazing.
found things that you did and you went, you know what, we're not going to sell this anymore because this doesn't really work well.
Mhm.
I mean, I think
Yeah.
that's the thing too. Like, there's so many things kind of thrown at people that sometimes it's good to kind of have someone who's actually in the ownership position going, I've tried all these and I wouldn't suggest let's do this.
Again, I'm coming in as a consumer, so
Mhm.
trying everything. And it's trial and error. I was one of those people that would go to like CVS or Walgreens or Ulta or Sephora and spend hundreds of dollars on a whole bunch of little stuff, and then I'm like,
Use it 3 times
yeah,
and go,
what
whatever.
works? What doesn't?
Mhm.
You really need
And
to
what do you
stick.
combine?
Yeah, you
Yeah.
really need to stick with the program for at least a few months to see. 2 weeks, you'll start really noticing some changes, but stick with it for a few months. And then if it doesn't work for you, then try something else. But the number one game changer for me was the double cleansing
Mhm.
and an SPF for skincare, just skincare products.
Yeah.
And well, okay, I mean, I can keep going on, but those are you
No,
gotta
go
wash
on.
your you
Go
gotta
on.
wash
Say what
your
you're gonna
face.
say.
You gotta wash your face, and you gotta put on that
So
SPF.
wash your face. Let's say you're a man who doesn't wear makeup, hypothetically. So would you wash your face morning and night?
Yes, twice.
And would you
Twice in
double
the morning,
cleanse?
twice in the
Okay.
evening. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And spend some time. That was really hard for me because
Isn't
I'm a-
this and this
I'm
and
a
you're
big
done?
washer in the morning because, of course, you're taking a shower and everything. But at night, even when I was in TV, I'm a lazy person when it comes to skincare, and I would just take one of the wipes and wipe my face off, and I would go to bed, and that was it. And then as you get older, you're like, oh, probably not going to work out for me. So planning when I'm going to wash my face is really kind of a process for me, and I have to really stay committed to that.
Yeah.
So
I get that.
I'll go in before I watch our show, in the evening. Like, okay, I got to take at least 15 minutes just to really.
I've learned to not
Good.
take my sleeping pill and try to wash my face, but to wash my face and then take my sleeping
Stop.
pill. You start going, okay, I'm going to bed.
Yeah, exactly. I know. But a great moisturizer is good. I like some of the real thick ones because I just feel like it nourishes me. And sometimes when you see the lines on your face, it's not because you're getting older, it's because you're dehydrated and your skin is dehydrated.
And I find for myself, I have to really watch that because I can go a long time without drinking water, and then all of a sudden I look at my skin and you go, oh my God. I mean, it really does show up, and that really shows up in your hands. Like when I'm hydrated, my hands look a lot better than
They look
they
puffy.
do.
And I
Your
love,
wrists and your ankle crinkles,
Oh,
yeah,
I know.
that makes a big
I know.
difference in water.
But I really like our Skin Better line. I want to get another line in here that's either all natural, like botanical, so it's easy for women who are pregnant or breastfeeding or young kids that are going through acne problems. It's really something that I see with the younger generation. They have this acne, and of course they have acne. They're going out and playing and they're touching everything, and then they're eating the greasy food and they're touching everything. So I think that's really important because there's
hormones.
because there's some products out there on the market that they get at those stores that is so bad for the young skin. It's stripping of their skin, it's causing more issues, and it can cause more issues later on that might not be able to be fixed later on. So,
it's like the influencers that I watch the dermatologist influencers, not the
kids.
normal. Yeah, I think it's really important. And it's interesting because you'll watch 2 or 3 and see what all three of them say before I would make any changes. And then also going to a dermatologist once a year.
Oh, yes.
Everyone, or 6 months. You
Absolutely.
should anyway.
Getting your body checked.
And you know what I do? I go every 6 months and I have them remove anything from my back because I hate old man back. Like, you know, when you see people,
well, we can laser your back.
Well, maybe I'll change to that, but it's just
We can
amazing
laser
because when
and get
you
rid of the
see
brown
that, oh,
spots.
I hate that. It's like some guys they look really great, but they don't look at their back, and then they turn around and you go, oh my, you should have gotten some stuff taken off there.
We can laser your back and get rid of the brown spots. We can laser your shoulders. We can laser your arms to get rid of the freckles that when we were out
What
in
about
the
the
sun.
broken capillaries?
We can have lasers for
Okay.
that too. But again, you know how my nurses.
We were talking about things that are game changers. This is something, and I don't know. For some reason, as I've gotten older, I started getting eczema, which I never had it as a kid. So my game changing thing for today is I have one of those spray bottles of water that I spray my face, then I put hyaluronic acid on right afterwards. Same thing. As soon as I get out of the shower, I just barely pat dry and I am putting on the lotion. And moisturizer can only do so much, but if there's already moisture in your skin, then you put it on there, it's going to be twice as effective. And that for me,
it does make a difference having some moisture on your skin when you put the hyaluronic acid. Am I saying that right? Hyaluronic.
Or the oil on your skin right after you get out of the shower. When you're still wet, you oil your skin and it just.
Yep, that's
I
to me
started putting
huge.
bio oil over my moisturizer.
Ooh, really?
What's bio oil?
It's great.
How's that working out? Is it good?
Really good. It seals it all in.
You know,
if you have acne, it's not good, but if you don't, it just keeps it all locked in. I have a friend who is very into her skincare for her profession, and that was her trick. That's one of her tricks. She's always used bio oil, and it's got vitamin E and it's got all the different things, but it really does. Yeah.
I'm liking the vitamin C serums. You have to be careful with vitamin C because some people get really irritated. And I'm kind of really getting into masks now. You know,
I need to be better at that.
But there's some that you have to leave on for so long that I can't. But
have you tried the growth factor? Any of that?
The exosomes. We offer exosomes here too. And let me tell you, if you get Morpheus 8 or microneedling or any of the peels done to put an exosome on top of it, it helps heal it exponentially. It is crazy.
Wow.
So that's when they say exosomes. That's what the growth factor is. What that is. Okay, good to know.
I also have one of those Cleopatra masks. Do not laugh.
My mom's been using that for
years.
Oh
my gosh, I love it. So you can, like, if my daughter wants to use it for acne, then there's a certain color light. I use the red light.
And that's for anti-aging, right?
Yes, and I do it probably 3 times a week. Again, a game changer.
I use it for my mouth. I have one that goes in, and you can do your whitener with it. But also, I just do it in the mornings, even without the whitener, because it helps keep your gums healthy and grow.
Really?
Now, the red light and blue light therapy is really a big deal.
There's a doctor that I always watch who I think is great, and he talks about them. His name is Dr. Anil Rajani, and I think he's out of Portland, Oregon. But he's so smart. He has a podcast. He breaks down all the science for everything in the most layman terms so you understand it. But he's really into the red light therapy and those devices that can stimulate the collagen.
I had a kind of famous client looking for some houses in Oklahoma City, and so we went to some pretty fantastic and maybe Oklahoma Thunder-ish, houses. And almost all of them, instead of a sauna, they had the red light sauna.
Oh, really?
Almost every single one.
Which they say that goes to your bone, and so it actually makes your fat, it's better at making your fat go away or shrink. Yeah.
Or doesn't it help stimulate the brown fat or something that, which is the good fat? But people get into those big saunas for depression also, because there's different settings that you can put on there, or if you're sick.
So for those of us that love the sun, it's nice to know that sunlight is good. Not sunlight, but sunlight.
Well, I don't know what I would do without the self tanner though.
Okay, can we come back and do this again?
Yes. And I want to have my nurses, Lindsay and Logan and Krista, work on you guys.
Because my eyes and my throat, those are where I can tell where I'm aging.
Yeah, so y'all have to watch that on YouTube when you see us before and after.
Yeah,
I think that's beautiful.
It's exciting. Yeah.
And tell everybody how they can come to Kimiko where you guys are located, all of that great stuff.
We are located at 91st and Yale, right across from the Whole Foods and CVS that's up here. We're open Tuesday through Friday from 9 until 5. We take a lunch at noon. And you can also find us on social media. Our Instagram is Kimiko Tulsa, Facebook Kimiko Tulsa, our YouTube account Kimiko Tulsa. So,
and what I love is I'm on your text thread and how you send out the texts
I'm
that
so
say,
sorry.
no, I love it because you'll send out those texts and say, hey, today we've had 3 cancellations. There's these, and it's really great because a lot of times, I mean, when I'm ready to do it, I'm ready to do it.
Right.
And I may not be ready to do it for a long time, but then all of a sudden I'm like, who can do that today? And it's like, that is so great that you send it out. So you want to get on that
Agreed.
thread text for that.
Because we've been getting booked a couple weeks in advance now. And all of the cancellations are people getting sick.
With the flu.
With the
yeah.
flu and
Yeah.
COVID and pneumonia. So yeah, we'll send you out another one.
Okay. Awesome.
I loved being on here. Thank you so much.
We're going to do it again.
Thank
This
you
is
for having
great.
me.
I think this
Definitely.
is just great information all the way around. We've covered so many things. We'll kind of delve into some a little bit more particular, maybe even have some of your staff come on and talk about
Yeah, they
things
would
too.
love to.
It'd be
And get
great.
ready to see Jack and I age backwards.
Yes.
Or at least look a lot better.
Your hair really is so good.
Yeah, great hair.
Thanks.
Good hair.
Seriously.
All right,
We're
guys.
all
good.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much. It's always
Thank
it's
you.
so good to do a podcast with one of my besties and then to have one of my besties on here. That's what this is all
And
about.
And
Get
also,
real.
you know, I love a local business. You own it. This is what you do
Thank
for your
you.
living. And we can support, you know, we're asking people to support us in our business. That's why we do this podcast is, you know, to stay out there and in the public eye. And I think it's important for people
Thank
that
you.
are the community that we support and we love and we sell. We want to support that. So,
Thank you.
yeah.
Because she is our real estate agent. I'm sorry
Mwah.
you're not, but
That's okay.
She
That's
is.
okay. If you're not going to use me, you should use her.
And I mean, I know Cindy.
We do it
is
together. We don't
incredible.
expect everybody
Yeah.
to use one or the other. So,
Mhm.
yeah. That's
So either one of these will be in great hands.
Well, there you go.
And I do love you guys though with your real estate because I've known you before Cindy was in it as far as a realtor.
Yeah, yeah.
And your follow through with your families
Yeah.
has always been pretty
important.
impeccable because it's not just selling the house. I mean, you're selling memories
Yeah,
and you're
absolutely.
selling emotion with it. And you've never been like, all right, sold your house, peace out. And you're
Yeah.
not like that either.
Mm-mm,
You
no,
have follow
not at
through and
all.
everything.
And you know what? You're selling. We are selling the community. You know, and that's
Yeah.
one reason why we do the podcast. I think sometimes people wonder why do you do the podcast in real estate, but we are selling a community. So we're
Mhm.
showing the community and educating people, and so that's what we do. And it's not one of the things we wanted to do this year was a holistic approach to the home.
Mhm.
You know, and I think that
That's
starts
great.
with everything. You know, your skincare, washing your face. Where do you do that?
Mhm.
At home, in your bathroom.
Mhm. This is
And
true.
you may want a refrigerator in your bathroom because you
I
may wanna
have
keep
one.
your
I love
stuff.
it. I love it. I love it.
What?
Yes.
Do you really?
Oh yeah, it's one of those little ones that sits on the counter, and
Oh,
it keeps
yeah.
all my
Okay.
skincare in there.
You know, now they do
Love
medicine
it.
cabinets that have hot and cold.
What?
Yeah. You can do like a medicine cabinet that you can turn on one side hot and one side cold, warm or cold.
Hey
so you-
Todd, guess
Yeah.
what we're adding?
Oh my gosh.
See, we have so much more to discuss. So we'll do that another time so you all can get on with your life.
Sounds great. Everybody get real.
See you next time.